Thank you, Jason David Frank.
And Mr. Saban.
That's Tom.
And that's Chris.
Decca, what is the topic of today's episode?
Suit up, Rangers, because today's episode is about Ranger calls and Morphin sequences.
Alright, we'll rank our favorites, so stay tuned.
It's PRNT time.
This is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger. You are watching PRNT. Wow, wow.
Welcome, Rangers,
To this episode of
PRNT,
your source for all things
Power Rangers.
On this episode, Chris and I are going to rank our top 5 Morphin sequences and even demonstrate a couple calls for you to try at home.
That's right. First, though, let's mention that the calls and sequences we're talking about today are those of the original teams, not the 6th Rangers or Special Rangers.
So without further ado, let's kick off our episode with number 5.
Power Rangers Turbo.
Starting with the call of shift into turbo, as well as the steering wheel motion, and ending with the encasing of the head and the helmet, the turbo morphing sequence won us over and is deserving of a number 5 spot on our list.
A quick fun fact. It is rumored that JDF himself created the morphing call for this series. So,
it's another
that's
reason
awesome.
why.
I love you, JDF.
Moving on to number 4, Power Rangers Samurai.
For us, what makes this sequence stand out is the drawing of the Ranger symbols using the Samuraiser, with each Ranger having their very own unique symbol.
The following sequence, changing from the black garments to the Ranger suit, and finally ending with the grabbing of the samurai sword in midair, is both entertaining and exciting to watch.
We actually got a chance to experience the Samurai morphing sequence in our Let's Play episode. If you click up here, you could follow the link to check it out.
This brings us to our number 3 sequence, Power Rangers Dino Charge.
This sequence uses a blaster called the Dino Charge Morpher, and instead of the wrist morpher that we see in many of the other series.
After inserting the Dino Charger, giving the blaster a quick flip and energizing the morpher, the spirit of each individual dino is seen flying around and finally chomping down on the Ranger and thus applying the suit.
We felt that this was just an awesome sequence all around.
And now, to our number 2 morphing sequence, Power Rangers SPD.
With the cry of SPD emergency and the push of a button on the morphers, this sequence begins by projecting the suit of each Ranger, followed by each Ranger being pulled through the projection, thus applying the suit.
Finally, the look up from the kneeling position of each Ranger and the application of the helmet just makes this sequence just overall awesome and exciting to watch, and I love watching the SPD morphing sequence each time.
You see the glowing lights on the helmet and you know something's about to go down.
Yeah.
Before we get to our number 1, let's mention our honorable mentions, in no particular order.
First is Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. The simplicity of this sequence is what really appeals to us.
Just a simple cry of, "Go Galactic!" and a basic arm raise and a push of a button motion. This is enough to transform these Rangers.
It's short, sweet, and to the point, and that's why we love it.
For our number 2 honorable mention, Time Force. The call of "Time for Time Force!" and the arm motions is fun to watch and even more fun to perform. Stay tuned to the end of this episode where Tom will show us how to do those motions.
Finally, our number 1 honorable mention is Power Rangers Mystic Force.
What makes this sequence so great is the emergence of the Titan spirits during the sequence. It's just an awesome connection between the past and the present. It's really cool because you see the morphers, they are wands, which is kind of more older
Ancient,
style,
yeah.
ancient, but they're also cell phones. So it brings the two together in a pretty nice way.
Yeah. And finally, back to our countdown. our number 1 Power Rangers call and morphing sequence.
Drum roll, please.
Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue.
This may come as a surprise to some, but hear us out.
You thought it was going to be Mighty Morphin, didn't you? While the call of Lightspeed Rescue may be a little lackluster, the throwing of the shield and the application of the suit by being pulled through the shield is what really makes this sequence number 1 for us.
It's just awesome. It
was really the first time we had seen something like that. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's just really cool, and I think the excitement of that, just seeing that the first time, really sticks in our minds. And if we could morph, that's the way we would want to do it. Yeah.
And for those eagle-eyed fans, or more for the fans who aren't as eagle-eyed, if you notice, the shields that they throw out are in the shape of their visors, which is it's just cool little here's and there's that just makes the whole sequence awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, we hope you enjoyed our list. We would love to hear your opinions of our 5 chosen sequences, so be sure to take some time and fill out our poll right up here.
If you have any other comments about sequences, some you thought we missed, some you like, be sure to write them in the comments below.
Now, time to take you to school.
In a subject other than science.
That's right. Tom and I are going to teach you a couple of morphing motions, and I'm going to start you off with a lesson in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's Morphin time! Triceratops! First off, I want to mention, yes, I know I'm using the movie Morpher, but it's what Tom got me for Christmas, and I love it. So thank you, Tom. I'm going to teach you how to do that morphing motion. Again, I'm going to be slower about it and break it down. So, first, hold your morpher with the coin facing up. Turn it upside down, because that's actually how you want to grab and hold the morpher, because your wrist is facing up. Alright? So, you grab your morpher, and now you're ready to start. You start off by pulling your arm up to your shoulder. Say, it's morphin' time, with as much passion as you have. Then you want to bring your arm down with the back side of your arm facing other people. Flip your arm over to reveal your morpher. Bring your arm back up to the shoulder. Bring both your arms up and around your side. Bring your morpher in your arm now with the back side of your arm facing up. And then flip it around, press the button, and exclaim your dinosaur. Alright, so now that I've shown you how to do that, we're going to try it together slow. If you have a morpher, please feel free to grab it real quick, pause this video. If you don't, it's okay to use the air. Pretend with us, alright? So here we go. It's Morphin' time! Triceratops! Alright, now that we've done it slow, and you've kind of got the hang of it, we're going to do it one last time the way a ranger would do it. Nice and quick, so we can get out there and fight the monster. Alright. Ready? Ready! It's Morphin' time! Triceratops!
Alright guys, I'm going to teach you one of my favorite morphing sequences, and that is the one from Time Force. Now, the morpher for Time Force on the left hand, I do not have one, but I hope to have one soon. Okay, so I'll show you the morphing sequence to you quick, and then we will break it down. So, ready? Ready. Time forward, Time Force. Okay, so if you're ready to try this one out, go grab your morpher. Alright, so like I said, the morpher is on the left hand. And after the ready, ready, okay, it comes out like a T. And it comes back together, crossing the wrists. Morpher hand, of course, is on the outside. And then after that, the morpher hand comes back. The non-morphing one goes out. Take a step and bring it together. And that is the Time Force morphing sequence. So, a little bit slower. It's Time for Time Force.
That was awesome.
Thank you. Time for Force is one of my favorite Morphin sequences.
Now, let's make our own crossover episode.
Mighty Morphin and Time Force?
That's right.
Alright.
Mighty Morphins, write in the comments. Are you ready?
Time Force, represent. Are you ready?
Ready?
Right.
It's Morphin time!
Time for Time Force.
Triceratops! I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking this video, and sharing it with your friends.
And don't forget to ring that bell.
If you go here, you can like us on Facebook.
If you go here, you can follow us on Twitter.
And if you go here, you can follow us on Instagram.
And remember, as we sign off, our hope is that the power will always protect you.
Let's power down.